from the Scripps Howard School of Journalism studio. I am your host, Sárah Lee, and I am joined by the beautiful two-time Oscar-winning Ruth E. Carter. How are you feeling being here today?
I am amazed. I am feeling so happy. When I looked out at all the graduates, I just felt happy.
Yes, and I'm a graduate. We just got off the stage.
Yes, that's right.
And you're back as a commencement speaker.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Did you ever think that you would be the commencement speaker at Hampton University?
Well, when I was here, I just wanted to learn, study my craft. I was so involved with the theater here. I didn't have a chance to think about, what would happen once I got out there and came back. So now that I'm here, I'm so honored to be the community. I never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would leave, go to Hollywood, win 2 Oscars and come back and be the commencement speaker and get an honorary PhD on top of that.
Exactly.
So no, I did not think this up in advance.
And you talked a lot. I was listening to your commencement speech and you spoke so much about Afrofuturism. Can you expand a little bit more on that concept and what you mean by that?
Well, when I feel like when I was on the set with Spike Lee and we were shooting Do the Right Thing and we had all of the messages, it was a protest film. I feel like, we were embodying, our own Afrofuture because, we wanted to tell our stories our way. Also on the set with Ava DuVernay on Selma and watching the marchers coming across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and I had all of the magazines and photographs and things that documented that event, and I wanted to really make sure that we were expressing Afrofuture by being accurate and telling our stories. So Afrofuture to me was like embracing my dreams, embracing my purpose, and I tried to send that message out to the graduates today.
Yeah, with all these majors with HBCU students, we have so much Afrofuturism. What do you expect from Hampton University for the next generation to come in? What do you hope for them to do with the concept of Afrofuturism and these degrees that they just earned?
Well, we have a new president here, so there's needs to be changes that pattern with, some of his interests in moving the university forward, always with a new president. I feel like the graduates, will take what they learned here and they'll go out and they'll become first. As well as the incoming students that are coming in and are still, learning and growing, that, they'll take their chosen profession and design their path, design their Afrofuture, do it the way that they feel passionate about, because once you love what you do, it never feels like work.
Yeah. Did you know that you always wanted to do costume design? Was that the path that you thought you were going to take from the jump, or was it not?
No, when I first came to Hampton, I come from a legacy of teachers, and so I went into education, special education. I did 2 years of special education here at Hampton, but I was always in the theater. I was always auditioning because I wanted to be an actress.
Right.
And one day I just didn't make a play that I was auditioning for, and I went to the professor's office to find out why I didn't make the play, like what? Right. And he said, well, we have costumes, do you want to do the costumes for it? And I was like, okay. Yeah. And it stuck.
Yeah. Did you ever think about the journalism side, maybe because the acting, because I feel like they kind of go hand in hand in certain ways. So did you ever think about that route before you just dove into it?
Well, I love I had a great instructor, Linda Bolton Smith here, and Rex Ellis, and we were reading all the classics, Lorraine Hansberry, Douglas Turner Ward, and I just love the written word. I wasn't writing as much, but as I grew in this profession, I realized how collaborative this medium is. And so the writer is the first, he bursts the story, he or she. And so that's like, your first introduction to creating a look for a film is to read the written words.
Right.
So, I mean, we're definitely kindred spirits.
I want to know, what are some misconceptions about costume design? Because I feel like when I think about costume design, I think about sketching, I think about the models, I think about the mannequins, but I feel like, what are some misconceptions in the industry? Is it more than just that, or is that like the foundation and then?
So many misconceptions because people don't know about costume design. They always think that it's fashion.
Right.
And they want it to be fashion. And they go, oh, I have a friend who's in fashion. You should meet her. And I go, okay, but does she want to do costume design? Because they're so different. You know, one is taking a script and dissecting it and being a part of a filmmaking team. The misconception also is that I'm not like behind a curtain, like Oz sewing all of the Afrofuture costumes. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm actually a visionary. I actually, you know, direct a whole team of artists that are illustrators and 3D artists and concept artists, and I'm directing the art. So once we get our illustration done, and yeah, that's the other misconception, that I'm sitting there with an easel and I'm painting. You know, I don't have enough time, so I have to hire, you know, a team of illustrators.
Right.
And then once we get an approved sketch, I have another team of fabricators, whether it's going through computer renderings or we're making molds. There's a huge process to creating great costumes.
See, I would have never, the way you broke it down, I would have never imagined. I really wouldn't have. That's why I feel like it's important for you to elaborate on that part, because I feel like so many people just think you're just sitting there sewing it on T'Challa, doing, you know what I mean?
And those things happen. I remember in the ancestral plane when T'Challa wakes up, and he wakes up into the ancestral plane, he sees all the ancestors, he comes up out of the dirt.
Yeah.
I remember he had his shirt that didn't have a hook and eye at the collar, and it was just all askew when he came up out of the dirt. So I was like, God, I gotta go fix that. And with a needle and thread, I went in there and I tacked it.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite memory with Chadwick Boseman while you worked with him on set?
Oh,
because
my goodness.
he was an inspiration to me and so many other HBCU students, as he attended an HBCU as well. So do you have a favorite memory?
I do. It was the time that I was working with him on Marshall, and our first day of filming, I pulled up in the parking lot, and I was a little bit early, and he was in his trailer, and I was trying to give him some time, you know, to actually put his costume on and get acclimated. And I got a call from my agent telling me that I was chosen to be the designer for Black Panther. And I'm looking at Chadwick's trailer, and I'm thinking, do I tell him now? And we haven't even started this journey on about Thurgood Marshall. So I decided to wait and not say anything about Black Panther. We went through the whole movie of Marshall, and about 2 weeks before we were done, I said, you know, Chadwick, he was like, Ruth, you killed it on this. I was like, thank you. I said, but I wanted to tell you that I was selected to be the designer of Black Panther. Wow. He said, oh, I knew. I knew.
He already knew.
So after all of that, he already knew.
The mind, right?
Yeah, but I really felt like, wow, this guy could really like hold it close. You know, he was letting me take the lead on when I wanted to discuss, you know, the work on Black Panther. And I knew I had so much to learn first. I didn't even want to open the conversation. So I love that story because, you know, it really did give me an introduction to his character. And from that point on, our fittings, we were like kindred spirits, and he was funny. You know, when I would get a costume wrong, he would like, oh yeah, this is like the Commodores. I feel like I'm like, oh, you're not the Commodores, you're the Black Panther. You know, I was like, give it to me, I'll do it over again. Yeah. But you know, he was a lot of fun and just a really sweet and giving person. Yeah.
Do you ever think that like God put you? I don't know if you're a believer. I
am.
Okay, great. So I'm just thinking God put you in these rooms with these great people. Like, do you ever sit and think like, why me? Like, why am I the one who is able to work with all these individuals, like a Samuel Jackson, like a Chadwick Boseman? Like, how does that even feel, just to be in this space with these great thinkers and great leaders?
Well, I don't look at things in terms of maybe, you know, othering people. You know, they call that othering. I embrace people, and I realize that we're all the same. We're all artists. We're all human beings. We've all had our struggles, you know, and, you know, as people of color, we come into this industry knowing that, you know, we have to be double the, you know, double the level of intellect, double the level of expertise, and they understand that. So when they see me, you know, working hard to make it make it happen in my field, in costume design, they're supportive of it. And we collaborate. You know, my fitting room is like a transformation a place where we can talk about, you know, what do you want to do with this character? How are you going to play this character? And then I make sure that I have done my part, my work, and my research, and they're interested in knowing what kinds of things I've unfolded. And I'm showing them different shoes from a period or different garments and hats, and we're actually like having a great time discovering the character together. So I don't put them out there so far that we don't understand each other, because they're in front of the camera, not me, and they have to feel this character with the costume that they're wearing, and they have to feel it's kind of inside out.
Yeah, I have one more question for you, Ruth.
Okay.
I did some research on the meaning of your name, and I just wanted to ask you if you know what the meaning of your name is.
Ruth,
So from what I saw, friendship was one. Vision of beauty was one. What was the one that you had?
Where thou goest, I will go. Your people will be my people. Your God, my God. That was Ruth in the book of Ruth, and she said that to her mother-in-law when Oprah, her sister, went away to get married. Ruth stayed behind and said to her mother-in-law, I will stay with you. So I think Ruth means loyalty.
Yeah, very loyal, very well-spoken, and you're an inspiration to all of us. Can you give one last advice for HBCU students who just admire you and look up to you, and they're about to get in the world because it took you so long to get to this point where you two-time Oscar. All of us want to get to that point as well. So what advice could you say to us?
You know, people always say, don't give up, keep going. That's very good advice. That was given to me, and I, you know, even through some of what you think maybe your failures, that's where you learn the most. So you got to keep, you know, picking yourself back up from your bootstraps and continuing on your journey. Push through those negative feelings, push through that doubt. You know, it does settle someplace in your body, so, you know, you can give a good stretch or a good workout to get some of that emotion out, but just keep going till you reach your ultimate goal.
Thank you, Ruth. It has been a pleasure interviewing you. We're live here at the Scripps studio, Ruth E. Carter. Thank you so much, Ruth. It's been a pleasure.